Hey guys, it's me, Ellie, aka Looks from the Crypt, and today we're gonna be delving into like an absolute favorite of mine that I think is a Halloween must-watch, a movie that you have to watch before you die at least once, and just something that just such like pure campy goodness. And that movie today is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And if you have not seen this one, I have no idea where the fuck you've been. First off, this movie is a cult classic, like midnight movie kind of thing that has garnered a lot of mainstream popularity recently. For example, if you like go to like fucking any Spirit Halloween, the merch is everywhere. I bought several merchandise from Spirit Halloween that is Killer Clowns. Along with having its own like exhibit at Halloween Horror Nights. And lastly, we are getting a Killer Clowns video game. So at this point, if you're not familiar with the extraterrestrial clowns, you've been living under a rock, but that's okay because we're about to get into this. Whether or not this is a movie you already know and love, or if I'm somehow the guy that introduces you to this. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a movie that was made by the Chiodos brothers on like a budget of like $2 million or something. You may know the Chiodos brothers from doing special effects. They're known for being special effects dudes. And in our history, not to be shady, but often movies made by people who are amazing or like do special effects, like that's their thing, the movies kind of suck ass. However, this is one of those exceptions to the rule where I feel like this movie's just fucking dope. You're just gonna fucking have a good time. I don't know what like this movie's like intent was to be once it came out or and was finished. However, I know what we ended up with and I love it. So with that being said, if that sounds like fun to you, to dive into this absolute cult classic that Killer Clowns is and see how I got this look, grab a snack, grab a drink, and keep on watching. So we start out with Mike Tobacco, very cool name, and Debbie Stone. They're at Lover's Lane with a bunch of other locals. From my understanding, they're teens, but they're not teens. But we're supposed to think that they're teens, but we're also not supposed to think that they're teens. 80s shit, right? So they're at Lover's Lane and they see a glowing green object like fall to earth. A nearby farmer named Gene Green sees this happen to and believes it to be like Halley's Comet. And of course, thinking it's Halley's Comet, he goes into the woods to go check it out and see what's up. While trying to see where he believes Halley's Comet had landed, he finds a huge circus tent in the middle of the woods. Not suspicious at all, totally normal shit. So he doesn't really think anything of this and it's like, damn, like where's the fucking ticket booth? I want to go check out the show. You know what I mean? However, while trying to find this ticket booth, him and his dog are captured by the clowns, which at this point we haven't seen yet. Also, we deserve justice for this dog. His name is Pooh Bear and he was so cute, but he got captured in a net and probably died. So RIP. We really did him dirty here. Meanwhile, Mike and Debbie are trying to discover or like find what they saw hit Earth, yet they encounter the same super flamboyant circus tent in the middle of the woods and act like it's fucking normal. At least Debbie is like skeptical of this. However, Mike is like, I don't see the problem. Despite Debbie's reservations, we still go inside this like mysterious circus tent in the woods. Now we have entered the tent. Something I really like about this is where I must show like some appreciation is into like this like set design because it looks fucking insane and is like the coolest shit ever. The inside of this like tent is just like absolutely perfect and exactly what you'd imagine. Absolutely nothing screams alien clowns more than this. So they decide to explore because like Mike thinks this is like a normal like clown circus thing. Despite being in the middle of the woods, I know I've said like 300 times, but I just want to put emphasis on the fact that this is not like your average like scenario. Anywho, we are going through and like it looks so fucking dope. And then we go through the elevator, and then that's kind of once we start to realize like something's wrong. This is when we realize we're not on like a side quest at all, because it kind of feels that way when they are like looking for whatever landed, and it feels like we're on a side quest, like, oh, let's go fucking stumble in this like circus tent. But then no, This is the main quest, actually. This is what landed on Earth. This is the shooting star that we saw at Lover's Lane that we thought landed, but no. It's a fucking circus tent. Wandering, we discover a room full of like cotton candy, and Mike thinks it's fucking dope, but then Debbie's like, people don't store, I've never seen cotton candy store like this. Like, this is like a thing you just come across and see often, which, I mean, I guess I don't know her life story. Mike feels like there's like a reasonable explanation for all this, regardless of how like strange it is. He just wants to think that like it makes sense, which I kind of understand. We find the farmer in like a totally nasty, yucky, gooey, wet state, totally encased in like cotton candy. And as Mike and Debbie discover the farmer encased in cotton candy, they are spotted by a clown. This is like our first seeing of the clowns, I think. And this clown, he keeps that thing on him. He is packing heat. And that heat that he's packing is a popcorn bazooka. Also, funny story about this popcorn bazooka. This was actually like the most expensive prop to make. It took like 6 weeks to make or some shit like that and cost around like $7,000 because it's actually like a fully like working popcorn launcher thing with like pressurized air.
Popcorn, why? Popcorn! Because the clowns, that's why.
Not gonna lie, that explanation there can be used for any question you have during this movie. Because they're clowns. If you start to wonder or question anything you're seeing, just remember, it's because they're clowns. I also feel like it's really important to point out that this is literally how they sound, and this is how they talk, and it's fucking dope. So they chase Mike and Debbie out of the tent, trying to get them, and they chase them out with like their like cute little like, what the fuck is that called? Like a balloon animal dog through the woods. And apparently they also had to like, that's like a real like balloon animal that they made. And they had to like dip it in latex to make sure it didn't like pop on the pine needle. I can't explain how or why, but this is fucking dope. This is badass. So Mike and Debbie, they go to the police station and they're trying to explain like, yeah, these fucking killer clowns from outer space are trying to get us, they're trying to attack us, blah, 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 all this crazy shit happened. There are dead people in the fucking UFO, that's a circus tent, and of course, sounds absurd. However, luckily, Debbie, her like ex-boyfriend, is a cop named Dave who works there, who's willing to hear them out. So this is one of my favorite parts. I actually like, from Spirit Halloween this year, they had like the little hand puppets here, and I got them, of course. This is one of my favorites. So they're doing like a puppet show for a fully grown adult who's interested, which is kind of strange, but whatever. I mean, personally, I would probably also be down, so I would probably also fall victim to the clowns if I saw this in real life. So they're doing this little puppet show or whatever, and then they fucking like blast this dude with like their little fucking gun and turn him into cotton candy. It's so...
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
I've seen this Jackass skit before.
Oh, pizza.
Now that's the weirdest porn storyline I've ever seen. So in the midst of the clown just wreaking chaos around town, the ex-boyfriend, cop, or whatever decides to hear them out and go check out what's going on. He doesn't want Debbie to go with them because safety or some shit like that. He's like trying to be like a total like simp right now still, despite her being with like a new guy, being like, I was at Lover's Lane with him and all that shit. So he makes her go home, but then has Mike like lead him to where they saw like the circus tent. However, once we like arrive to like the scene of the crime, if you will, the circus tent is gone. It's been like rehomed or resheltered. I don't really fucking know what happened. Or at least at this point in time, I don't know what happened, but it's gone. So the cop's all pissed off and he's like, you fucking asshole, I could do this and that, I can arrest you and do all this crazy shit. However, while this is going on, Shorty, He's my favorite of all the clowns. He's so cute, like in like a fucking ugly kind of, in like a fugly way, you know what I mean? So Shorty, he like approaches these like bikers in like an alleyway, and these fucking assholes destroy his bike, not knowing what they're getting into. And then this is my fucking favorite part. One of the assholes says,
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
and guess what? That little motherfucker does. And again, we just get to see more of the other clowns causing like absolute chaos throughout town. In like the sickest ways possible. They're using like cotton candy guns, playing tricks. You know the deal. So Mike and Dave, the police officer, they go out to like the Lover's Lane area and see that all the cars there are absolutely empty and there's nobody to be found or nearby. And then this is when things begin to feel a little too real for comfort, I guess, for the police officer, and he starts to believe what they were going on about. Meanwhile, the police station's been like absolutely flooded with calls about like these killer clowns, and like this like old man cops all like fuck you, like all pissed off because he just thinks it's like a really elaborate prank that the entire fucking town is playing on them. And for some reason that thinks it has something to do with like these like ice cream salesmen that are like our comic relief like zany characters. Mike and Dave, they like are driving around town trying to figure out what's going on and how to find the clowns when they spot them in like an alleyway doing like a puppet show, or like not a puppet show, for like doing like a shadow puppets for some people. So I decided to add this little doodad to make me feel more like a clown. I don't know if I fuck with it or not, but I guess we'll just see what happens. Anywho, this shadow puppet scene actually like scared the fuck out of me as a kid growing up. It scared me. Like, wait, I felt like I was gonna do shadow puppets and then this was gonna happen, and then I'd be like stuck in this weird situation where I should like kill people with my shadow puppets. So it like fucked with me as a child, but I love it now. So witnessing this clown commit murder via shadow puppets, the like cop and Mike, they decide to fucking floor it and like try to run the clown the fuck over, but he just jumps straight into the sky, being able to be not found. One of our clowns like strolls into the police station super casually, and he's like, well, I be damned, there are fucking killer clowns around here. And he's totally like trolling the police officer like to the fucking max, mind you. And like he decides to like arrest the clown and like detain him and put him like in handcuffs, like as if he's not like a fucking like 8 foot tall like literal like alien monster. And like, I mean, you've seen the clips of the clown so far, like they don't look like people dressed, they're literally fucking like something else. Like they don't look like people dressed as clowns, you know. So he decides to treat him like just any other delinquent that he has to arrest and throws him into the jail cell. I don't know how to explain this. Like, the clown has some sort of, like, what are those things that, like, fucking birthday parties make sounds? He has one of those that, like, goes out of the jail cell and, like, grabs the cop and, like, strangles him to death, which is pretty fucking sick. So Mike and Dave, they, like, split up or whatever so that, like, Mike can go ride around with the ice cream man to make sure everything's all right and try to see if we can find where Debbie is. However, there's, like, just clowns clowning around, having a clown parade in the middle of the streets. However, we do see that the clowns, they're on a mission. They go and get Debbie, and they like capture her in like a balloon. And knowing that the clowns are no longer at their original destination, their next obvious conclusion is that the clowns they must have changed their home base to be at the amusement park because, well, like I said, any question you may have during this movie will be answered by the fact that they're fucking clowns. As simple as that. And our silly little fucking clowns, they murder a cop by throwing acid pies at him. Which is pretty fucking awesome. I know I say like every scene in this movie's dope, but that's because every scene in this movie's dope. You have to hear me out on that. So they murder our cop, and then that's when the gang shows up. So those brothers who drive around the ice cream truck, yeah, so they get abducted by the clowns. However, Mike and the cop Dave, they like search through our like zany spaceship. They're hiding, they're being careful since now that they know what the clowns are capable of, and they witness a clown like put like a straw into one of the like cotton candy things we saw, like the cotton candy cocoons, and drink blood out of it. Our clowns, they discover them, they chase them around this like kooky funhouse style spaceship. However, it's all totally like booby trapped, so there's lots of fun little moments throughout. Struggling to find their way out, the twins, they actually end up driving their ice cream truck through the spaceship. And this happens as they're completely surrounded by clowns, which reveals us to our final boss clown. Clown Zilla, if you will. Basically like a fucking like, literally like Godzilla-like clown that's like fucking massive. Which, fun fact, that's a fucking person in there. Apparently that was originally supposed to be stop motion, but they decided to roll with having it be a person in a costume, one of the Chiodo's brothers. Our cop creates a distraction so that the three can escape. The spaceship ends up exploding just like fireworks in the sky as we all watch, launching a vehicle which has Dave in it, who we thought died, and then the fucking ice cream brothers, who we thought died. Everybody's actually okay, and we watch this like fireworks in the sky. Yet our clowns, they have their final last laugh of throwing pies in their faces as they launch out into space again. So all I gotta say is that this movie's fucking dope. This is a movie that I really love. I've loved it since I was a child. It's just a really fun, like, Halloween time, like, absolutely crazy, like, the definition of camp type movie to watch. I give this bitch 5 out of 5, straight up. I love this one. It's so much fun. And, like, honestly, I didn't even realize, like, this was, like, a movie that people didn't really enjoy until recently, which is really weird because I just feel like it's one of those ones that's, like, so absurd. Everybody has to love it, right? Right? I just have mad appreciation for all the like effects because they're super cool, and like the set building and like they're like latex costumes that the clowns wear, which are super cool. And fun fact about the latex costumes, they're like ended up being used in like an Ernest movie, which is interesting. I'll have to like watch it and see if I can like recognize them. I'm not sure if they're like presented in like the way we know them here or if they look a little bit different. This is just a really fun, low budget, like, absolutely fucking bonkers, hilarious, so bad's good. But, like, in my opinion, this movie's just fucking good. It just rules. So, definitely recommend this one for a Halloween watch. Or at any time watch if you're just wanting something that'll, like, lift your spirits in a way just because it's so kooky. Honestly, though, if you, like, don't like this movie, you just don't like fun. At least that's my feeling. Like, this is something you watch to have fun, and it's like the epitome of that kind of movie. So if you don't like this, fuck you, basically. So, with that being said, I really love this movie, and I think everybody should watch it. It's like one of those movies I feel like everybody should watch once before they die kind of thing. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like this is like a movie that like, there's not really much more to be said that hasn't already been said, so I'm going to leave it here. And clearly it has made its success from being like a cult classic midnight movie to being honestly pretty mainstream, and like everybody and their mom knows this movie and it's like a household name to a degree. So with that being said, this concludes my review. This has been Ellie, aka Looks from the Crypt, and as per usual, all my links will be listed down below and all that good stuff, and I am out.